typical Indian summer season is considered to be the season of love. Vasanta, Chaitra, normally Western culture they celebrate love only one day, but we celebrate love over a season. We have season for love. But it's a again and November, December is very like she is Indian summer season. In realizing the need to go for industrialization, but to keep the principles of Swadeshi intact, a middle path was found by Nehru. He said we'll go for industrialization, we'll manufacture things, but it will be nationalized. We will not allow private players to come in. Instead, what will happen is the state will plan. The government will take the decision on what to manufacture, how to manufacture, where will be manufactured. The state will own the manufacturing machinery and let us go ahead and manufacture. For a long time, India did try this model. If you see along in Bangalore was the experimental ground for this. If you see, lot of companies were established by the government in the early part of Indian independence to realize this dream. Even our neighborhood is dotted by such things. The Bharat Electronics Limited, HMT, BHEL, HAL, NAL, all those things were established because government wanted to have a control on production, deciding what to manufacture, how to manufacture and things like that. In a way, compromise had to be done between what Gandhi actually wanted and what the nation wanted. There was a dilemma. If Gandhi had it his way, would India industrialize like this? Would India take this path? Is a very interesting question to answer. If Gandhi had his way, suppose, let us assume for time being that Gandhiji would not have died because of that bullet in that time, and he would have survived for 10 more years. Would Gandhi have approved the mass industrialization which followed? And if that did not happen, where would India be today? An interesting question to answer. We can just speculate about these things. What would happen? Would we still using the cottage industry to produce all the things which this country would require? Or if we could manufacture things in a smaller scale, would India become the economic change which today is able to become? These are interesting questions, friends. But nevertheless, what happened has happened. We did choose this path of industrialization with the state. Did that serve the purpose? After some 3 decades of our independence and growing through this path, we did recognize that this path is not giving the benefit as we expected it to. Last part of 1980s, we were actually bankrupt. They said that we did not have money even to pay for 1 week of grains in advance. That was the state of our Indian economy. And at that time, we consciously took the decision of going to a fast lane, switching to the fast lane of liberalization. 20 years have elapsed after liberalization. Have we realized the need of being whatever we wanted? Again a big question. So now it is time, according to me, to go back to the original question and see whether Gandhi can provide some answer or not. Because we have failed in in both our experiments. Socialist planning, we have failed. The liberalization economy, we do understand today we are failing. We do have enough science around us to say that we are failing. Somehow we are failing. That is the reason why I want at least few people to go back to Gandhi and see whether Gandhi has some answers for our problems. The question will be very relevant for you people, because in next 10 years or so, most of you, at least most of you, will be in a position wherein you can influence certain decisions, at least in a small level. And at that time, what is that ideological position which will be guiding you? That is important. Whether you will be driven by planned economic kind of thing or whether you are for liberalization, that will determine what decisions you will take. That is the precise reason why I want all of you to give a thought to what Gandhi had told about these things and how India should make it progress. Can we realize the ultimate Gandhian dream? And why that question becomes important for me in my first class? I am not saying that I have complete answer to this question, but these are thoughts in making. Probably after some years I may give more precise answers. But now I still have some sketchy solutions which I may present to you. One of the ideas of...
So can any businessman like a big businessman like of that level, Birlas or some other, like can they increase this cottage industry or like they can stop the this industries and all machines and all, and they can like if textiles is being produced in some industry, like there are many machineries or something like that, can they increase the cottage industry? Means can they grow the cottage industry to a big level, like again to realize Gandhi's dream?
Especially in the ready-made dress market, the dresses we wear, India is facing a unique challenge. Earlier, India was just a supplier of raw materials. Now, India faces a very peculiar situation. We not only produce raw materials, but we produce ready goods also. Whatever clothes we wear, whatever foreign brands they may be, they are manufactured in India. Surprisingly very close to us. Go to Yeshwanthpur and drive the Tumkur Road, hub of textile manufacture, garment industry. More number of people work in Bangalore garment industry than IT, but rarely do people recognize that. The garment business in Bangalore is bigger than IT business. Who works there? Illiterate laborers, mostly females. They stitch our clothes which we wear with foreign brands. It is very peculiar. We give the raw materials, we manufacture it, and we ourselves buy it. But when the product changes hand and ultimately when some labels are attached to it, suddenly the cost increases 3 times, 5 times. Indian market, we are facing a very strange situation. Developed countries are not manufacturing anything today. If the same dresses which we are manufacturing is manufactured in US, the cost would be 5 to 6 times the manufacturing cost itself. They will not manufacture anything if They can outsource the manufacturing to any small company who is willing to take up, they will just outsource. But they do manufacture something through which they dominate the world. They manufacture defense equipments. That is the only thing they manufacture. For them, the only interest across the globe is to find a market to sell their defense products. And they make it a point to see that they have ready clients everywhere. So when your biggest superpower in the world manufacturer is nothing but defense equipments, what will the worldview of that country be? They say, for someone with a needle and a hammer, the entire world looks like a wall. For someone who manufactures defense equipments, the entire world looks like battlefield. It is in their interest that somebody should fight with someone, so that they get the chance to sell their products to both the parties. Please fight. It is in their best interest. Your question was, can a big time player change the game here by reducing the dependency on big machines and encouraging cottage products? The answer precisely in modern times is no, as I keep saying. We have reached this stage wherein our dependency on machines is so great that we simply don't know what to do without machines. Guys like Immanuel Kant had once said, let's see, I keep going back to this theme, I think, in many of my lectures, that man and nature equation is changing over time, and the way man sees nature, or how man sees nature decides how he is deciding his place in this world. For a long time, man thought that nature is a superior power and what he has to do is just go down before the powers of nature. After machines came, today man does not feel that he has to accept the verdict given by nature. He does not feel that. Ask anyone today, what do they feel about sun? What do they feel about rain? They feel they are something which has to be not something with which we have to live ourselves with harmony. They are forces which are against us. And we take every precaution to see that nature does not do any harm to us. And when I look at the advertisement of sunscreen lotions and all, the sun is so burning out there and it will cause harm to your skin, so please wear this lotion so that you can protect yourself against sun. I see that mindset. So nature is your enemy now. Nature is not something with which you can live in harmony. That mindset mankind has got because he now has machines. Without machines, man does not have this kind of thinking. Machines have given this superficial notion to man that he can so-called quote-unquote conquer nature. You have to differentiate between two things, instruments and machines. Instruments need human actions, machines don't need human support. Sewing machine is an instrument. Therefore, we should support it. Machines are those which does not need human intervention. There was this person who came down to our college for some 3-4 years. He was a research head of a very famous IT company. He gave us a demonstration of a software which is written by their research group, which could stitch certain kind of dress materials. These dresses which we wear, when they are making in the garment industry, what it is, there will be a master cutter who will cut the clothes. Then it will go to the shop floor where the ladies will stitch. Instead of that, those guys came up with this idea that they tried the software to do this. What should you do is just give whatever measurement that is and all, it will cut, it will stitch, and finally you give the cloth in one side, you will get the ready-made cloths on the other side. I felt if this comes, what will happen to the garment industry? Those things should be rejected. But then the ultimate aim of capitalistic society always is to introduce such machines which will make human labor redundant. Do you know the biggest irony of the machine, the present times that we are living? We made all the machines because we thought we can live life happy. Don't we? Why did we invent all the machines? We invented machines because we thought these machines will give some free time to us so that we could pursue some other things which are more meaningful. But what is happening today? Because there are machines, we don't have enough time to spend it for ourselves. This is the biggest irony. We wanted machines to do work for us, but now we are working for machines. And we are working like machines also. And not only that, because there are machines, we have to work more. See that? We thought that machines will do most of our work and we'll get free time. Now, the normal labor class has to do more work, because if they don't work more, the guy will bring in machines and replace them. So they have to work more. So what have we done to ourselves? We started with something, but we have landed up with something else. This is a dream which was shattered. So what should we do today? Shall we throw all our machines to sea? During tsunami, then we come back. What shall we do with the machines? Shall we reject our machinery? Impossible. But I think certain harmony is possible, that is where FOSS comes into the picture. Why FOSS for me provides a solution to this problem which we are facing is precisely this. FOSS gives us this feeling that a community of people can take things into their hand and change something to suit their requirements. For a long time, the might of the manufacturing industry did not accept the fact that every community had their own needs. They did not accept it. They were bringing out the materials and dumping it on communities, saying that you have to use it this way only. I think FOSS gives us a hope that if people take things in their hand, for example, take GNU Linux itself, every community can take the product, customize it, make it work the way they want it. This is the biggest hope. Precisely speaking, what I am hinting towards to is, we discuss whether FOSS is useful for business, whether FOSS is useful for them. No, that is not the point. We are missing the actual point. We should be looking at why FOSS should become the de facto choice of governments. I am hinting towards that. When I say that every community has to customize the product for their need, I am hinting towards the state power. Today, some of the strategic things we have in our country are all imported. Our fighter planes are imported, our submarines are imported, our basic defense mechanism, most of it is imported. A country cannot rely on imported materials for something as sensitive as this. In coming days, software will be the driving point. Tomorrow's defense, tomorrow's governance, tomorrow's economy will be driven by software. Now the question is, will you allow a proprietary company to give you the software and keep the source code with them? Or will you go for FOSS, which allows you the flexibility of taking the thing into your hand? This is where we should focus. Whether you use FOSS at your homes, whether you use FOSS in your business houses, I don't care. But I do care if my government is not doing governments become dependent on a particular company to give them the software, there is a problem. Because in today's times, a country need not send its army to the other country to dominate it. Those were the earlier times. Today, he who controls the knowledge of a country will be the master. And software being the driver of tomorrow's economy, any government should not give this monopoly to some company. Maybe any company. So more than anything, it is governments who have to go for the better tomorrow. This is where I am invoking Gandhi. Self-reliance in technology, especially in software, will become crucial for tomorrow. This is where we should stop the submission to the foreign goods, which Gandhi didn't want. For us, theoretically, has the possibility to become Swadeshi software. If you want Swadeshi software, for this you only go. By Swadeshi, I am not saying software in the local language. Many people are confusing this. I am saying that proprietary companies also come up with local language tools. I am not hinting towards that. I am hinting towards the possibility of taking software control in your hands. If Gandhi said that we should reject foreign goods for better and support local goods, and if we want to equate that to software, it is only false which is the answer for us. And false has this unique ability to be global and local at the same time. Global capabilities, local needs, satisfied only by force. So if you want to be self-reliant in the present economy, which is knowledge-based, and if you want to go back to Gandhian ideologies, the only way we can do this is by accepting force. At the government level, is Indian government doing enough? After much pressure, the open standards have been announced. 2010, July, Indian government announced open standards policy. But then, in practice, this is not happening. Main culprit, as I keep saying, the Kickstart project towards the bringing IT to the common man, the UID project is not following this. Because tomorrow, when UID project becomes the de facto project, over which all IT deployment will be based upon, not going for FOSS in UID will be a historical mistake. Because if you have an infrastructure which is completely dependent on proprietary tools, working at the gram panchayat level, accepting the birth records and other vital information about every citizen born in this country, and if that IT infrastructure is proprietary, where are we heading to? So there is an immediate and urgent need for everyone involved, including all of you, to see that whenever the government takes up a project, more so in the defense sector, they give at least an equal opportunity for false equivalence, not completely shutting doors towards false. By and large, the lack of awareness is also the reason. More than making students aware, making the common man aware, making the business people aware about false, I feel the immediate requirement is making government aware about false. We have examples. The Brazilian government has gone phosphate. Even in India, Kerala has gone phosphate. It's high time all other states are doing this model. One, because we have to be self-reliant on technology, and second, finally we have the chance to realize the Gandhian dream.